Alright, welcome back to Soul Spark Tarot. I'm your host, Mr. Renew, and we got a bonus message today. I feel like I just had to. I got the Christmas message out, but I just feel like I need to, I don't know, just other kind of energy instead of like the energy of growth and transformation. I don't know, let's discover it. So let's just chill. Just listen. I messed up. I like this song. This is called Damon by Origami Beats. Anime type beat, Damon free type beat, instrumental 2023, hard parentheses. It's like syntax. I gotta put this stuff in here, but that's a lot of going back. So I'd rather just speak it. Verbal references, people. But anyways. I feel like I was trying to force some energy right now. I saw the 8, then I saw the tower, so I'm glad I acknowledged that. Oh, and guess what? That's an example of the message from the Christmas. I'm not going to be down on myself on how I wanted to do it a certain way, and then I started to like act like one way, but then it was like, oh man, I could have just, let myself flow. And so instead of being like, dang man, I lost it, or saying something crazy like that, damn, I forgot, I'm stupid. No, no, no. Don't say nothing like that. Just be like, haha. Start off with a giggle. Make light of the situation. Don't treat it like it's a bad thing. So show yourself it's not a bad thing. Again, parts of you as a child. And so children at certain ages learn by seeing and hearing. First comes hearing. Hearing comes first. We don't hear anything. But we hear a lot of muffled sounds in the water. Just imagine screaming and yelling and talking to people in water. We've done it as children. We can't really hear, but the closer you get, the easier it becomes to have those voice or that audio vibration transmute through that liquid medium. But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. If you take the time to change the frequency, then your audio or your sound can penetrate further. And the reason why we want to use sound is because sound is a carrier. Sound carries a lot of things, and the same thing that is being carried can vary. So this is like color, but on a more physical level. The reason why it's more physical is because the audio at the right frequency can interact physically. So distance add an action. Just like when we understand what a magnet has attractive forces, so there's a certain distance that one can be before our energies just are compelled. This is shown quite well in the movie Hancock with Will Smith. Uh, they're demigods, and so because they're a demi, meaning they're partial, um, the human side of them would long for the other human side of something that was similar to it, as it was the only thing available. In other words, every single human being, it, it's one out of one, and because of that, we all long for something, but really it's a someone, and the someone is just someone to be with. And that be with has to be you most of the time, because a lot of the times we can't get through that muffling of difference. We force ourselves into groups, even families. We force ourselves into these communities because it's the best way to survive. But if we wanted to live and thrive, that's a different story. We're not compelled to need others. We don't even need ourself when we're searching for the higher version. We're dropping versions of ourselves to seek another. So it's the complete opposite, but it's applicable in the current traditions. If we continue with modern times as we are establishing traditions, we can start to see how we are imploding upon ourselves as different versions. And as we implode, then we're changing and recreating circumstances which will allow us to see new versions of ourselves, but never ever return back to old versions of ourselves. Never ever. So there's aspects that can never ever be returned to, but then there's aspects that can be returned to. And the difference is the knowing. Knowing which is which, but knowing how it switch. How does it go from being addition into subtraction? How does it flip flop to the other side? That is what we got to really be focused on. Oh, look at that. I don't know. The light. Ah, hopefully that's just not me, but the bottom of the deck, you got the two pentacles. This is the flip flop. This is what I'm describing. It is crazy, but the idea is you got to know that the physical things that you have a blueprint behind it. The things work certain ways. And just because you learned it a way, it doesn't mean that's the only way. And just because you only think of one way, doesn't mean that's the only way you've learned. And just because you've forgotten a bunch of ways, doesn't mean you can't learn again. Listen, that's what the song is called, Origami Beats. I've never heard this, but it came out a year ago. Let me give it a like, and let's turn it up. Because it's making me say some good stuff, and I hope you're listening. What is the energy? What are we yapping about? What are we balancing about? Why do we need to know this? Why are we here? Talk to me, Spirit. Okay. Here. What do you mean by here? Is this physical or non-physical? This is emotional. So right here, right now in your emotions, it's like you're learning how to take physical action away from the things that remind you of this heartbreak. But you're out in the, it's like the things that you need, you're out of. Damn. So, that's crazy. Recently, I had spoke about giving ourselves medicine. I had spoke about giving ourselves medicine, and what I do and what kind of medicine I provide is soul inspiration, and it really takes time to get back into who you are as a person and the things that you do to help yourself. That is your medicine. So if you go to my website, in other words, and you look at any of my services or products, that is my medicine. And it really dawned on me how I can connect with the things that I've been doing a lot more because I can see it from a new point of view. And I think that's really what this Five of Pentacles is all about. This Five of Pentacles is it's a it's a good card. Everything is good and bad. So let's look at it from the bad side. Physically speaking, it's bad or negative. You're out in the cold. Things don't work the same way. Things just don't happen the way that you want them to. Things just do not operate on the physical scale as you feel like they should. But the thing is that on the non-physical side, you're so fucking solid. And that's what these Five of Pentacles are. The Five Pentacles is four pentacles, which means that you're stable. Let's look at it. The Two of Pentacles says I'm juggling. What are you juggling? The Ace of Pentacles. The ace of the past, and then the ace you were just presented with. Here I'm walking on this journey. Hey, I got a side quest for you. Do you accept this side quest or not? Are you going to continue with the previous Ace of Coin or journey? Or are you going to accept the side quest, the new pentacle? And then you go into the idea of deciding. And then the Three of Pentacles says collaboration. You made your decision. And because it's you and it's somebody else and it's somebody else, the idea is, who are these people? If you don't know who those people are in the Three of Pentacles who are collaborating, then you got to understand what energies or ideas. That's what I mean by people. The Four, that means that you're either going to be in a place to where you're working alone, or you're going to be in a place to where you're working with others. And the difference is that one has the outcome that you're looking for. Neither one is bad. But you can collab with people and realize they're not for you. Then you can collab and network with people and realize they're all for you. Guess what? The networking or collaboration doesn't change. But that's the idea. Because it doesn't change, you can always find benefit in either direction. And this is the idea of the Four. I'm going to hold on to what I have because I can move in any direction. But this is the idea of the Three. I can present just a little bit, one thing, but I get the benefit of two others. So it's like, oh, well, I'm going to work harder than just one. I got two, so I can give like one and a half. And that's the same thing with everybody else. So it's like, by us just giving the one, but us sharing, we get way more benefit quickly, but we got to divide it up between the three. That's what we got to keep in mind. It's the threefold. The Four says, I don't care. But now we're in the Five. Whether it's the decision to work with people or whether it's not, physically speaking, whether you're doing it by yourself or whether you're doing it on a team, physically it didn't work out. But guess what? That's the Four. How do you have this pentacle? Where's the fifth pentacle? Oh, it's the side quest. So I can go back always to that side quest for the simple fact that the side quest was always presented to me. So when you're met with emotions that are taking you to this space, you got to realize what it means to be taken. I'm being taken down the hallway. If you complete the sentence, let's not use fragmented thoughts. Again, we can take the little shards and put all the shards together and once we put the shards together, we'll get a bigger shard, and then a bigger shard, and then it starts to crystallize. And so we can get new life from little pieces. But the thing is, if you have enough light already upon a situation, then you can alter that entire sequence by showing yourself a little love of understanding it's all fragmented, it's pieces. I don't know. What I do know is I can go this way. And that is the idea of them walking away. No matter how beat up they were from the choices that were made beforehand, physically speaking, all of my energy was exhausted. But at the end of the day, even if I'm broken and bruised and hurt and scarred, I have all of these different battle wounds. There's etched in me as experience, and I can take these extra experience points, these extra levels, and I can say, oh yeah, so you still need that side quest done? Huh? Oh yeah, same going rate. But now since you leveled up, now since you got that experience, now since you've already walked away from these things that have put you in this destitute, unalive state, just done, cooked, burnt, thrown away because you're so unedible. We looked at you and started laughing. That's how cooked you are in this. But now you realize on your new journey, you realize that you're not in that cooked situation and you don't even know what brings you here, but you know how to at least get yourself out because you realize you can always take a side quest. So when you're being taken down that path or down that hallway to these old thoughts that make you feel like this, put a random guy in there, a random girl, a random NPC, non-playable character, and just make them say something. Like if you ever played a video game or if you ever been just walking down the street and your friend called out to you, just imagine that as a checkpoint down that hallway. Just I'm saying these words so you can imagine how to how to picture what you want to take your mind to when you start to feel a certain way. When you start to feel that way, you should train your brain to be able to see in a certain way. So I got my feelings and I can see it, and that vision should not inhibit the river from flowing. It should let the river remain peaceful as it keeps on going. And that is the idea of passing it by. Driving in a car and I can see all the cows, and then they're gone. I gotta like turn my neck and I still can't see them. They're gone. Oh, I can see we're coming up on a giant mountain, or let's say a bridge. Wow, the bridge is coming up, it's huge. Oh, we're on the bridge. Ah, we're leaving the bridge. I don't see the bridge. It's just a memory now. Again, that is this card. This five. Five represents changes. But I'm telling you what it looks like in real life to make these changes. And when you're going down a hallway and you can enact one of these memories, these thoughts that you've had in the past of just things changing. No emotion behind it, just pure thought, perception. Perception. That is me thinking. I'm just looking at all the thoughts. That is a group. Thinking and then thoughts. Thoughts is a group. Thinking is one moving towards something. It could be a single or a plural. This is just, again, addition or multiplication. That's all I'm saying. So you can multiply more thoughts of just simple change in the five of Pentacles state by thinking differently. And that thought pattern that comes out differently is simply just a side quest. It's just another pentacle. So appreciate the fact that you always can take a side quest at a higher level. That means it's easy. If you can go and make a bunch of easy money on the side, hey, can you come help me move some couches? I'll pay you some money and get you some pizza and beer. You know, heck yeah. Boom. I just made $100, got pizza, beer, and helped a friend out. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go buy some more pizza and beer with the money that he just gave me, and we gonna continue to eat and drink. Like and then I'm gonna give him $20. You know, put some gas in your car because you're the one who been driving us around to go get the food and drinks. So then, guess what? I still got some surplus. I extended the amount of time that I had by looking at the side quests. Because I was, again, more experienced or leveled up, I knew I could replicate that energy if I wanted to continue building a rapport. And now, because I have a really high rapport with my friend, and I still got money in my pocket, and I had an extra good time, I'm feeling extra good now, you know. And guess what? Everybody reached the benefit, especially when you get home safe. So that side quest, the side quest of taking the money and extending the experience through additional beer, food, time, gas, and care, nurture, pretty much, by extending that time frame, that side quest, I was able to acquire so much. It's like going on a side quest, knowing that I'm going to get something out of it. And you got way more out of it because you knew you was going to get something out of it, so you sought to get more. This is the idea of taking that ace of pentacles from the 5, and when you seek to get more, you get into the 6. And the 6 of pentacles tells us what? The 6 of pentacles is telling us that now we know how to give. But that means we know how to take. And so as we give our time, we took the compensation. And as I spent my compensation, I exchanged it for time. Now my compensation was, do you want to continue this with me? Yes. And then guess what? That is equal, right? Now, instead of being on the balance side of the 6, now I'm still being charitable. So that is, here's the $10 for your gas car, or for some gas money. That extra charitable aspects keep people coming. Why? Because of the idea is that, damn, I got all that I needed plus. If you feel that way and I feel that way, we are no longer in this position. So the idea is when you don't feel like you can get away from this, your key word, again, this is your key. This is how you unlock the energy and open the portal so you can escape. You can escape that pathway, your emergency door exit, by giving yourself a side quest. But you gotta remember that you gotta give yourself a what? A side quest. You gotta say it. Like, you gotta program those words to where your body has a triggered response. This is why when, you gotta understand different levels of fear. If I was like scared, it was like, that's not the same level of you said somebody was scared, speechless. Like, imagine somebody trying to scream and no sound coming out. Imagine somebody looking and their mouth just tremble. Those are different levels, and sometimes we are different levels of fearful inside of us when dealing with certain thoughts. We are certain levels of fear, and in that fearful state, we have different responses at different levels. And because we got different responses at different levels, we gotta appreciate the fact that we are at difference. So we can create a purposeful difference within the algorithm, within the computational arrangement. And by us creating a split or slit through this time by a projection of a thought, an opportunity, by us being able to create the rip, it doesn't matter where we go because we already pre-programmed the ripple effect to enact a specific action. In other words, this is a learned behavior. I've conditioned myself to respond to what this trigger will create. I'm going to respond to the trigger created. I'm going to create the trigger, but I'm creating the trigger because I know I've already pre-programmed my response. So let's say I get into a situation to where somebody wants to argue, and then I feel like arguing that day. I might argue something that defines the moment that says, I'm not going to argue, which might say something like this. If I had some time, I'm gonna argue with your dumb ass, but I ain't got the time today, so excuse me, please. Like, because I know that if anything else after that, if they continue to try to argue, I'm gonna just be mannerful. I'm just gonna be respectful like I would. I let myself get my anger out by saying, I'm not gonna argue with your bitch ass, so please excuse me. That's what I used my anger at. Yes, it wasn't friendly, but I'm mad. But at least I'm being respectful with my word choice. And then everything after that, because I already pre-programmed myself, will start to diffuse. The climax has already occurred with me being snippy or spicy or, witty or making a comeback or whatever. My response has been programmed to be accepting of my own program. When I can accept what I've programmed myself into, then I won't be fearful of entering a state where things might fall down around me. I won't be afraid of that because I can always take a side quest, and that side quest might be even away from that energy. Again, I want to argue. I want to sit there and just go back and forth. But because I can go back and forth just once, maybe twice, but the one time I do it, the first time is going to be like, I don't want to argue. I'm going to argue that I don't want to argue. Imagine fighters. I don't want to fight you, man. And they just keep trying to fight you. So like, what you gonna do? Like, my dudes understand, like, there's only so much you can do, right? There's only so much you can just accept this or be the bigger person. Sometimes that energy brings you down to a size, and that's the whole idea. Don't let it bring you down. Don't let the details that just are happening around you bring you down. Don't let the emotion that is overflowing go away. But never forget that even if you get brought down, you can discard that part and you will overflow once again. So doing both of these things is what's going to help us really see the energy of being in this Five of Pentacles, or change energy on the physical plane. Because what comes after the Six of Pentacles is the Seven. The Seven says, I'm waiting for things to grow. I'm watching things grow, but I'm not realizing the growth of the things that I'm watching. What that means is you're healing certain parts of yourself that is connected to this, but you're worried that everything isn't growing at the rate that you want it. You've already accepted that some things grow fast and some things grow slow, but you need some more details. You need to go in there and have a few more side quests so you can level up, so then you can go to the main story. Ooh, it's backwards now. That's because you're understanding the emotional aspect, but you don't understand the logic. You understand the perspective, how you feel, but you don't understand the details, the perceptions. So if you go into these situations, these thoughts where you're being pulled down to a negative state and making you feel like this, when you start entering those states, you gotta, again, before you get there, put a checkpoint, like defensive measure on your own mind to make you say, oh, but I forgot that I had to go lift weights. What the fuck? Why are you randomly saying that? Now your attention is away from that thing. Now your attention is away from that thing that's bringing you here. And then you can actually talk about the things that you care about. Seems a little ditzy, but you want to be light and lighthearted and floaty and fairy-like when you're being dragged down a hallway of hell. You want to be able to just get small and fly the fuck away. Take the core essence of the idea of this feeling, and guess what? Make it minuscule. Change. You got to change what it means. Again, your experiences is what's going to create the change, but you got to identify the fact that you can make the change. And then you can maintain this abundant energy. So, look at that. And that's the 8. Once you realize this, then you'll be okay with just working on the things that you're working on. You realize that everything that you do, it comes as a bundle. So when somebody enters your classroom, they're not going to see you as just the teacher. They're going to see the kids through you as the teacher, by what you got on the wall, by how you organize the rooms, by what you change, like by the structures and organization that you have placed within there. They're going to see you on the outside too. Excuse me. Oh, shoot. Whew. I'm sorry. That came out of nowhere, too. Showing your work, soft. Final message. Beautiful. A final message today is you have the strength to continue to be the lover of your life, to continue to be okay with taking a feminine or a masculine approach to situations, being okay with nurturing the idea of having both masculine and feminine responses into a single package, and you adjusting as you gain more information. You are okay because you know you have the strength to control all of your measurables, the ones that you know about, the ones that you understand, the ones that you barely recognize. You can do it because you can recognize it. But as you realize that you're just tag teaming with yourself, you're tag teaming with yourself, and you're literally calling out tag to try to switch with your partner by calling out situations that's making you feel weak and going on a side quest. Every side quest has benefit, even if it's just to go on the quest and gain, a level. Some of them have, heart points, let's say. And in that heart points, you'll gain healing, recovery. Sometimes you get stamina. Sometimes you get like magical powers boost, inspiration from people. You're learning how you can give those things to yourself even when you don't feel like you can because you've trained yourself to give to yourself that way. This Ace of Cup and that Ace of Cup is the same one Ace of Cup as you. This is why it overflows as a four. But there's five things creating that overflow. That pentacle that's being put into that cup by the dove. That message of side quest, you can always love God deeper. You can always get more connected. You can always snuggle up to Mother Nature. You can always breathe in Father Sky just a little bit deeper. You can always do it. Always, always, always. This is the abundance that we need to shift into. So we have the strength to do it. But what we need to realize is we got to have the strength to accept the cup of each other. You let your wife be your wife if you chose that woman. Do not let yourself be what you are if you chose that man. What that means is teach each other how to accept how to do what you each other can do. Do what each other can do. If I learn how to be more like my wife, and if my wife learn how to be more like me, then we can probably understand our kids a little bit better because our kids are made up of both you and me. Since it's both of us as one of us, we gotta see why those combinations behave this way, why it acts this way. Gotta take a look into your mind and say, why are these things that I've created or birthed in my mind, why do these things act this way? Why does it make me respond this way? Why does it change my mood? Why does it change how I feel? Why does it make me want to drink? Why does it make me want to smoke? Why does it make me want to go and have sex? Why does it make me? So, the fact that it makes anything, it's created in and of itself. So we gotta appreciate and have the strength to stand in our truth as we create within ourselves. That's what that is, right there. That is what that is. So have the strength to believe that you've been growing and you've been changing. That's not accepting where you are, though. That's not accepting where you are. Strength means that I'm stronger than what I am. I can do more, and I know that. So guess what? If I can carry six, bags of potatoes, but I'm only carrying three, that's not fair to the people who can only carry three and they're carrying two. So to be more equitable, I can carry four at a time. But if I had more value, again, I could probably get to the six if I wanted to. The thing is, I have the strength to realize that I don't have to always be at my level, the six. I probably can carry the eight if I really wanted to try, right? I can do more than what I need, but I need to understand what I actually need, what I actually want, what what is actually needed for me in my life. So if I needed to see those things, then what should I do if I needed to? Well, if I actually needed to see these things, what do I need to do is I need to just see them externally. And when you can see them externally, then you can start to build on those side quests. And when you build on those side quests, dun 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 dun, you can go on a new adventure. Didn't know what was down there, but I knew it was down there. That's what this card is. Going on a new adventure. Two of Wands were waiting on which direction to go. Waiting on the bus right here, baby. I'm going to the mall. So, all right, people. Yeah, I definitely need to get that out for somebody. So if you needed that, let me know in the comments. And with that being said, I appreciate y'all for being here. And I'm Mr. Renew. Peace.